What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In today's video, we are jumping into the final issue of Dark X-Men. With the Fall of X coming to a close and the rising of Fall of the House of X, we are seeing all of these storylines coming to a close. And when it comes to the Dark X-Men, we have Madelyne Pryor versus Madelyne Pryor. One final battle. It is time to see who has the true power. The Queen of Limbo or the Goblin Queen? Make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, make sure that you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, we are picking up in the midst of battle. The Dark X-Men, they are going full speed at the Goblin Queen and her forces. Havoc, Fate, Implant, Azazel, Gambit, Zero, mixed with Albert. They are holding nothing back. But Madelyne Pryor is more focused on the Goblin Queen. She holds the Mercy Crown. And Madelyne Pryor, she would tell you that it's not a weapon, that it is a tool to rescue people. But our Goblin Queen says that we know that's not true. The Mercy Crown is something that can touch any mutant soul on Earth, perhaps even beyond. The Goblin Queen believes that Madelyne created this for the day that the X-Men ever decide Orchis is done with and they need a new enemy. If the X-Men decided to ever turn on her, she could snuff him out in a heartbeat. If there is one thing she knows about Madelyne Pryor, regardless of what universe it is, Madelyne Pryors are born to suffer. With her putting on the Mercy Crown, we pick up with Agent Kroll as he pulls out a weapon that is LCD. Albert, seeing this, along with Zero, they go in to take down the agent. He quickly turns and he fires the missile, but what we see happen is it combined with Zero, a third head popping up on their body. And as Agent Valens tries to run away, tries getting out of here, Azazel is there waiting, laughing at the fact that these guys sold their soul to the first minor devil that crossed their paths, not understanding that hell has a hierarchy, and there is always a bigger and badder wolf. This is where he bamps her into a freaking wall and leaves her to die, with Implant fighting against the Bamf Dragon. Azazel laughing, saying God helps them who helps themselves, planning to leave him here alone. This is when Implant takes that Bamf Dragon, throws it over his head, it bumps into Azazel, and then the dragon eats him alive. And for Implant, this is all he ever wanted. His family debt is settled. He doesn't care what happens to any of them, and makes sure that they know he never has. And so Azazel and Implant, they are off the board. We pick up with Madelyne Pryor and the Goblin Queen. Using her powers, she strikes at Havoc. With Havoc falling, this is when Madelyne Pryor has had enough. Her true power comes out and everybody is unable to move. But while this is happening, it appears that it doesn't affect Albert. And so what Albert does is cut Zero off of their body so they can make a getaway. But the Goblin Queen begins to taunt Madelyne, encouraging her to claim her crown, to obliterate her false attachments, become the true Madelyne Pryor you have always meant to be. And she must admit that every time she wears that crown, she can feel the power. She could grab everybody's soul like fragile little birds and squeeze, with her hand interlocking with the Goblin Queen. This is where Fate takes on the appearance of Madelyne Pryor, telling her to remember who you are, that you get to decide your fate. Madelyne Pryor being reminded of who she is, she takes her scythe and she cuts down the Goblin Queen. With their defeat, we pick up at the Limbo Embassy 1 week later. Ruling over Limbo, everybody returns to their lives. Sync brings Fate onto the X-Men team. Zero welcomes new people into Limbo. Some monsters stay away, others can be tamed, such as the Bamf Dragon, and others trek their way across the globe trying to find a home of their own. As we pick up with Havoc and Madelyne Pryor. Havoc not really sure what to do because now they don't really have much of an X-Men team anymore. Most of the team has already left. But if Madelyne is being honest with herself, they never did. She made a misstep in declaring herself a leader. Jean was born to lead. Madelyne was born to suffer. But none of this matters any longer because she has made herself more. She is Madelyne Pryor, the ruler of Limbo, and once and forever, the Goblin Queen. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. This wasn't a bad series. I kind of feel like this is kind of repetitive. Like, we went through the whole ordeal of Madelyne Pryor already, multiple times. This was them trying to reiterate that Madelyne Pryor is a changed person. But I feel like this is something that we already covered, especially when you consider the entire dark web event. Madelyne Pryor has messed up on multiple occasions, and she has always been welcomed back by the X-Men, given another opportunity. It hugely focused on almost a redemption arc for Madelyne Pryor that I don't feel is necessary because she already had this redemption. With that being said, her Dark X-Men team is doing more than any of the other X-Men have been doing. They are actively killing Orchis agents, rescuing other mutants. We have only seen the X-Men team rescue a handful of individuals, and they have made no significant impact since the Hellfire Gala. And this is something that I've mentioned before, and a lot of people said, oh wait, what are you talking about, Comic Breakdown? They've been doing all kinds of things. Since the Hellfire Gala, Synch and the others have barely done anything. Wolverine, he is more actively going against Orchis. The Dark X-Men actually out here rescuing more than one mutant at a time, opening up their doors, holding steady with the Limbo Embassy. Now, the ones that are on Mars, on Arakko, we can make an exception for them. They are fighting a civil war, one that just ended, so we can expect them to make their arrival to fight Orchis soon. But the mutants that have been left on Earth really didn't do a whole lot. The Dark X-Men are a big exception to that. They have been knocking out of the park, they have been rescuing mutants, they have been decapitating Orchis members. They do not hold back, and this is exactly what mutant kind needs right now. They need an X-Men team that is not afraid to go out there, cut off some heads, and show them we will not go quietly into the night. All in all, I feel like this series could have been better if they had focused really on the Dark X-Men and less on a Madelyne Pryor redemption arc. I think it could have been better. But all in all, it wasn't a bad series. It was enjoyable. Definitely worth checking out if you're into Madelyne Pryor and a darker version of X-Men. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your theories. If you would like to get completely caught up on everything that has been going on with the Fall of X, go ahead, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It is going to get you completely caught up on everything going on with this series. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. Much like Patreon, having multiple different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to comics every single month. Not only are you helping out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. Now, if you're unable to do this, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.